Hey there, it's Lenny McGill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop here in the Nashville studios today. And we're going to talk about an item that has been around for a long time, but it's very, very popular. It's a +2 extension for your Glock magazines. And this is basically the item right here. It's a Glock Factory +2, okay? So it's plastic, just like most of the Glock Factory stuff is. And it comes along with an insert piece that goes inside this. Now, we do sell these separately. And we do sell them together. And we also sell them as a kit with the spring. All right, because I'm going to tell you why. Some people lose these, some people break these, and they have to buy them separately, and that's why. But if you're going to do the +2, I'm going to suggest you buy the entire kit because it has the extra power spring that's going to power that +2 round up as you get down to the end. And you know, I tried it with the normal factory spring. It kind of works, but it kind of doesn't too. So you really want to buy the kit if you're buying the +2 for your factory magazines. And the installation is pretty simple, and we're about to go through that process. It's going to work on both the Gen 3, 4 magazines and the Gen 5 magazines. Again, looking at the Gen 5 mag has the orange follower. It also has the extended base plate that allows you to kind of grip it and pull it out, versus the Gen 3, 4 is kind of a more flush base plate and the black follower. All right, everything else is kind of the same, right? So, but this item we're talking about will fit Gen 3, Gen 4, okay? And it only fits, and we'll talk about this a little bit too, the high capacity. It will not fit the 10 round or the low capacity magazines. It's going to fit the standard capacity, because people get mad when I say high capacity. So it's standard capacity. The 17 round magazines versus the low capacity, which the government is trying to enforce on the whole world. Why? Because 10 rounds is safer than 17. They haven't seen me reload. So, all right, now let's go through the installation process. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and get this kit opened up, because I'm going to use the extended power spring, and we're going to compare that spring to the factory spring. So here's all the pieces and parts that come in the kit. Each one has an individual item number, and then we sell the kit as a different item number too. So it's real important that you do, like I said, order the kit. I'm going to leave those in the package because they're already packaged. I'll take the spring out though, so we can inspect it and install it, and you'll see it's a couple more coils than the factory. All right, let's get those out of the way. This is a Glock Gen 3, 4 magazine, okay, 17 rounds. I need to take the base plate off. I'm going to install this new base plate with the new spring and the insert plate. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to use my MDT. This is our magazine disassembly tool. It's invaluable. It makes taking the base plate off a lot easier than, and you can do it with a punch, but it makes it a lot easier than doing it with a punch. And you can actually stick your punch inside here and press down and take the base plate off. Okay, it takes a little bit of muscle. You really want to get on it with your shoulders. You want to be careful not to let that slip out and scrape across your finger, because I've been known to do that to myself once or twice. And it is painful and usually draws blood. So I use the MDT because it's like a can opener. Stick the little post into the hole here in the base plate and just crack it off. And it's pretty simple, just like that. All right, I'm going to make sure I keep my thumb over there because that spring is captured in there. And I want to capture that insert plate so it doesn't fly across the room. I also want to make sure that I don't hit myself in the face with a spring or the insert plate. All right, so I guess the lawyers would say, wear your safety goggles, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and push off the base plate and capture the insert plate and the spring with my thumb and just slowly release. So that's called an insert plate. That's the standard base plate. And we sell these individually as well because people lose them and they break and or whatever. The body of the magazine is basically this guy right here. Now people have always asked me, well, how do you clean these? You know, they do sell brushes for them. You can also just pop this in some water, you know, or dishwasher even, and it's, you know, clean it out. Just make sure it's completely dry. And no need to oil this, okay? You don't need to oil the spring either, okay? It's just, it runs dry, okay? And a lot of people want to oil their springs, and the problem with that is that it gathers and attracts dust and grit and grime, and then it may not function as well. So just run it dry. Make sure it's clean inside. If you drop them on the ground, if you live out in Arizona or even California, you know, where we were running and gunning and playing and dropping magazines, they get dusty and dirty. So the way to do it is you take it apart, clean it out with a brush, or you drop it in some water, or clean it out, throw it in your dishwasher or whatever, let it dry and reassemble it. All right, now, here in the magazine is the follower. Okay, you can see how it's attached to the spring. You can see right away how the spring difference is. I'll put it back up here like this. Boom. So there's the increased power or extra power spring, and there's this stock factory spring that came out of your Glock 17 magazine. And I can count the coils: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 coils. All right. And it's capturing the follower here on that top. This could be counted as a 10th coil if you count it. Always depends where you start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10. All right. So, but I think it's a 9-coil spring is what it would be listed as on our website for your Glock 17. And like I said, the follower. Now the follower captures itself, or it captures by the spring at the top of the spring. You'll notice there's 2 different sides of the spring. This is the top, and this is the bottom, how it gets to be a little bit wider. All right, pretty obvious, right? Because it's not really going to fit into the magazine other ways. This one, let's count the coils on this one. So let me turn it over here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is kind of a 9 or 10 coil spring. I counted 10. This is an 11 coil spring. It's just a little bit longer. You can see how, it's significantly longer, to be honest. And it's going to give me the extra power to drive those 2 extra rounds. And like I said, you can run it with this spring. This didn't feel that great when I got up to those last 2 or 3 rounds. It just was kind of, didn't have, I don't think it had the power to match the slide, okay, to match the action of the slide. It wasn't going to push up fast enough, so it's going to have some kind of problems on those last 2 or 3 rounds because it just didn't have enough oomph to catch it up to the slide for it to load that next round. All right, first thing we want to do is we want to load our follower. Now you'll look at the spring, you'll see there's an up direction. That's the way the round goes. So we want to make sure that the follower is pointed in that direction. This being the rear of the follower that goes on the back side of the magazine, this being the front of the follower. All right, and when I put this in here, you'll hear it snap. Just like that. So it snaps, and that means it's in place, and it kind of captures it and holds it, and that's it. Boom, it's not going anywhere. Now, spring only goes in one way. Just like that. Follower kind of marries up. Before I do anything, I just want to kind of look at it and say, yeah, looks like it's working. All right, now, here's our insert for the +2. Notice how it's different than the insert for the standard. Here's our base plate, and here's our base plate for the standard. Now we'll get rid of those guys. The insert's really interesting because you're going to notice that it has a flat spot, and you may think to yourself, well, the flat spot goes to the flat spot, but it's actually the other way around. So you'll notice that when you put it onto the base plate itself, the +2 base plate, that there are 2 corresponding little ridges inside there that capture the insert plate in these little slots. So it'll go in there and actually sits in there and kind of gets captured in there so it doesn't go and wiggle around too much. The idea wants to keep that spring so it doesn't get cattywampus on you, all right? And that's really important. Now, that said, I understand the correct orientation of this piece, so I'm going to go ahead and put the insert over top of the spring and depress it. Okay, I want to make sure it's kind of seated nicely, and it looks like it's good. So now I depress it, and I want to capture it with my thumb. Okay, got it, right? So here's the base plate. I'm going to go ahead and slip it on and start to move it up to there. Now, the nice thing about these plastic ones, extensions, is that we don't have to cut off the 2 little tabs on either side of the magazine because the plastic is just going to expand over top of it. Now, once I've got it to this point, I can actually use the table, or I can do it by hand, but I can just push down and push it in place. And that's it. and looks like it's where it's supposed to be. So that's pretty cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and take some rounds, and I'm going to load 19. So as you know, this standard Glock 17 magazine is a 17 round magazine. So I'll take my trusty Lula loader. Now, if you don't have one of these, you should, because it really makes a big difference. Slips on the back here like so. You actually use a pretty big motion with your hand and push down, slide in, boom. It makes it so much easier. I don't have to use my little fingers to push down and get all torn up, because after you do 100 magazines or so, you get your fingers get a little raw. So right there was, I think 4 or 5, was that right? Yeah. Here's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And here's going to be 17. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, now these are the 2 extra rounds that you get with this extension. 1, 2, just like that. Boom. And now you have a 19 round magazine that looks just like this, and it will go into your gun and look like that. This is a Gen 5 gun too. And it actually gives you something to even put your little finger on, just like so, for the grip. Boom. All right. Now, that is the Gen 3, Gen 4 magazine. Same process for the Gen 5 magazines with the orange follower. Nothing different. It's going to fit, it's going to function, just do the same exact thing. But I do want to show you this 10-round magazine, because it's something that's very interesting. A lot of people think, well, hey, can I put that on my 10-round magazine? I should be able to. It's the same size, and you really should be able to. And you can put it on. However, you're not going to get any more than 10 rounds in there, because, let me show you what. I use my MDT again. Boom. Off it comes. And going to capture that spring and the insert plate. There's the insert plate. There's the spring. Spring looks very similar, right? Okay, yeah, same size. Wow, okay. Why wouldn't it fit? What's wrong? Well, if you look inside of these 10-round magazines, you're going to notice that they, Glock, by law, have put little ridges, and they're right here on the side, that will not allow this to accept more. Let me see if I can get the piece of paper back here. Get a little white there. See those ridges right there? It's not going to allow the magazine to accept more than 10 rounds, no matter what you do. I guess you could go and file those down, but it'd be a lot of work, because you can buy another magazine for $29. So, but still, the 10 rounders will not accept more than 10 rounds based upon that ridge inside there. And again, I can show you just so you can get a good visual. Those 2 little ridges right there. And a lot of people, will ask that question. They'll say, hey, I bought it and it doesn't give me extra rounds. Well, that's because it's probably a 10-rounder, and it won't, ever. So that's the answer. So listen, if you're looking for an easy +2, simple package, inexpensive, it's plastic, okay? This is it, really. This is a pretty good system. They're available for the 17, 19, 22, 23, 26, 27. We've got them all. They're on our website. We sell a ton of them. They come and go pretty fast. So, if they're out of stock, just, be patient. We'll get them to you. But the bottom line is they do work. They do look good. They are Glock factory, have a Glock logo on the bottom. You can check that out real quick. And, they're a desirable item for people. So it's a simple install. You can do it at home yourself. Get the right tools. Get yourself a Lula loader. Save your fingers. And, get 2 extra rounds with this OEM Plus extension. I'm Lenny McGill. This, of course, is the GlockStore. I do invite you to subscribe. I also invite you to go over to Rumble and check out what's going on over there. We are increasing our presence on Rumble. All of our videos are migrating over there, because they are not anti-gun. How's that? Okay. And, it's a pretty good option for you to start thinking about Rumble versus just YouTube. All right. And if you're in Nashville, I would suggest that you come by and check out the retail store, check out our shoot rooms, We've got all this stuff in stock, and we typically can just, let you take it home right there. A lot of people come in and actually buy a bunch of stuff and take it home, or they'll order a custom gun, and then they build it all up and they do it. They go shoot a couple things, and then they come back and we ship it to their home state, because Nashville, of course, is, destination city. A lot of people coming here because, did you know that Nashville is the fastest growing city in the United States? That's one of the reasons we moved here 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. So we're part of that growth, and we would love it here in Nashville. We'd love you to have you come by and check out the store and say hello. Thanks for watching. I'm Lenny McGill. We'll see you next time.